Today, I have with me Professor Suhas Sheetgovekar. She is the course coordinator for the internship courses, both offered in the BDP BA Psychology program as well as the Master's Psychology program. Myself, Dr. Monica, I am the faculty of Psychology in the School of Social Sciences. So, Professor Suhas, today we'll be discussing about the internship course, which is very important in both the programs at the bachelor level as well as the master's level.
Absolutely.
So, can you tell me about this course? What is this course exactly?
Yes, Monica. Mainly, if you look at MA Psychology program and BDP BA Psychology program, so in the third year of BDP BA Psychology and second year of MA Psychology, this particular course that is based on internship, it is compulsory. To tell you further about this, there are three main components. One is project, one is practicum, and then there is internship. So today, of course, we are going to discuss about internship, which is a compulsory course for MA second year and for BA third year.
So that means this course is not mandatory for the students who are pursuing BA minor.
Absolutely. It is only for students who have taken psychology as major subject.
Okay, 48 credits in psychology discipline only.
Absolutely. And we also have to remember, like if we talk about internship course at MA level, then it is 8 credit course, and at BA level it is a 4 credit course.
Okay.
And the course also needs to be carried out based on specialization. So if you talk about MA psychology, then the learners have three main options, that is clinical psychology, they have counseling psychology, and industrial and organizational psychology. So based on the specialization that they take for MA second year, they have to carry out the internship.
Okay.
In a similar manner, at BA level, it depends on which course they take. That is BPC 014, which is psychopathology.
Right.
BPC is 017, that is to do with counseling psychology, or BPC is 015, that is industrial or organizational psychology. So, internship is to be carried out strictly on the basis of the specialization that the learner has selected for whether it is for MA or whether it is for BA psychology.
Okay. So, but related to this, I have another query. Do we have this internship course in the new programs that we have offered from July 19 or January 20, that is the honors, psychology honors, and the BA general program?
I suppose you are referring to CBCS, right?
Right.
So, no, we do not have internship program in this particular new CBCS program that we have recently offered.
Okay.
It is only available as far as BA is concerned. It is offered in the old BDP BA program of IGNOU, and that is also, it is available mainly for learners who want to major in psychology.
Okay.
So this is a very important point that learners have to remember.
Okay, thank you, Suhas. But do you think internship is important? Why is it so important for our psychology students who are going to make a career in psychology?
It is absolutely important, Monica, mainly because, see, if you look at the very definition of psychology, it is a systematic and scientific study of human and animal behavior. And there is a lot of practical implementation, or rather the scope of psychology is very broad. Even if you focus on the specializations that we have, in psychology, whether at MA level or BA level, we mainly focus on either clinical psychology or counseling psychology or industrial and organizational psychology. In all these three specializations, a lot of, you can say, the learner has to develop a lot of skill or competence. You have to deal with people, you have to understand people, you have to know how to talk to people. And if you take specializations of clinical psychology, then there are, major psychological disorders, how to deal with the psychological disorders, how to diagnose them, and how to also provide psychotherapy. At least the learner needs to have some kind of an idea about how this is carried out.
So the learner in a way will get an exposure, just like, for example, there are many organizations who are allowing the students to observe. So by observation also the students are learning.
Of course, the students can learn through observation, or they might get they might be given some kind of work to take case history, which again is a skill in itself. Right. So it is extremely important because later on, these are the learners who are going to become a psychologist. They could practice psychology, whether in a clinical setup or a counseling setup, or it could be an industrial setup.
Right.
But they need to have these skills and competence, and that they can get only when they practically do it.
Correct.
Right? When they interact with people, each case we know is different. Right? So when they interact with people, when they actually take a case history, or when they observe a clinical psychologist or a counselor or a human resource manager functioning in an organization, he or she, the learner, is going to learn quite a lot. He is going to learn a lot of skills and know basically how overall, the activities
Hands-on
are carried out.
experience.
Hands-on experience, absolutely. And that is why we call it internship.
Right.
Okay, so that is the reason why it is very important, and the course was included in MA Psychology and BA Psychology
So
program.
that is, that the unique nature of the program
Absolutely,
also.
yes.
So, but then how do we select the organization? Because that is also something very, it becomes a little, dilemma also for many students, how to go about searching for the organizations or the criteria. Do we have any specific criteria?
Yes, of course, Monica. First of all, over here, I want to bring the attention of the learners to one thing. See, when we talk about distance education, the responsibility is on the learner. Now, what happens is we have given everything, whether it is your program guide, or whether it is your handbook of internship, handbook of project, or handbook of practicum. All the information about how to carry out each course is given in these handbooks,
Yes.
or the program guide. Like there is a program guide for MA Psychology, right? So each and every learner is expected to read the program guide clearly and properly. In a similar manner, I would like to show the learners that there is this handbook. Okay, this is the handbook of internship for MPC 015, 025, 035. These are the course code for MA internship. And for BA level internship, it is BPC 023.
2-3, right.
Okay, so this handbook of internship has all the information how the learner is supposed to proceed. How the learner is supposed to select an organization. There is a criteria based on specialization. For each specialization, there is a criteria whether they can do it in a clinic. If what about a government hospital? What about a private hospital? What kind of organization with regard to industrial or organizational psychology should they select? All the details, the criteria is given in this handbook.
Correct.
So the learner has to read the handbook, and then based on his or her specialization, and based on also his or her interest, like some of the learners, they are probably interested in working in schools. So they can carry out their internship in a school under a school counselor. Some of them might be interested in an NGO, which probably is dealing with, like, say, violence related issues and so on. So they could very well carry out their internship under that particular NGO, provided it meets the criteria.
It meets the criteria, and the student should also go now. Most of the organizations, they are having their website.
Yes.
Right. So they should confirm from the website what are the the points, the topics that they will be dealing, who will be mentoring, because now they all mention the details about the who is taking the classes or the sessions, how to go about. And in fact, if it is like, there are many when we do the regular internship also, I think like, for example, in hospitals and all, of course, that is very transparent. We know we can go there, we can visit ourselves, we can take permission from proper, from the regional center or the faculty if in Delhi. And so the point is, like, the student should be careful while selecting the organization.
Yes, they definitely have to be careful, and because we have already mentioned that this is very important course and it is going to give you hands-on experience, so this is going to be a very good learning experience, and we know that students who have carried out internship, they do learn a lot. Right? So it is very important that you select an authentic organization, you interact with them beforehand, an organization that meets the criteria. At the same time, before the internship starts, the learner takes permission from the academic counselor. They don't have to approach the headquarters for the permission. Okay, but they have to take an approval from their academic counselor. And why we have done this is because, see, the program is offered all over India. So, there are various, like, organizations, very good organizations probably that are there in Kerala. So an academic counselor who is in Kerala would know better about them. Or an academic counselor who is in, like, Mumbai, will know better about the NGOs or the organizations or industries that are there.
Correct.
So it is very important that the learner, first of all, based on his or her specialization, based on his or her interest, selects an organization, interacts with the organization, and is confirmed, that I'm going to learn over here. And before the internship starts, he or she has to go and take approval from the academic counselor.
Okay.
And then only then he or she can start the internship.
Okay. But before that, what you have suggested is that please read carefully the handbook.
Absolutely. Like, for example, we also have to remember that, see, at MA level, it is 8 credits. And at IGNOU, 1 credit is equal to 30 study hours.
Okay.
So the internship is to be carried out for 240 hours at MA level. And at BA level, it is of 4 credits. So it would be 120 hours.
120 hours.
So this 240 hours is what? This is everything related to internship. Including writing of internship report or references carried out by the learner. Okay, and we have made it very flexible. It is not as if, the learner, because most of our learners are working or they are also engaged in a lot of other activities.
Correct.
So they might not have that kind of a time. So there is flexibility. It is not like, they have to take a break from their work and then do internship for, say, whole 1 month.
Okay.
Based on the communication with the organization or the agency where they want to do the internship, it can be okay that I will visit every Saturday, or I am going to visit every 2 days in a week, and so on.
So the learner has to complete those number of hours.
Exactly. Within that year.
Within
that year, okay, with 240 hours is to be completed, and it includes all the activities related to internship, including any reference work, case history taking, observation, and also even including the internship report writing.
Right.
Okay, so, and of course, all the formats are given. So anytime they visit a particular clinic, they have to take the signature of the agency supervisor over there, and if they go for some reference work, then again they have to take signature, so that everything is neatly arranged in their internship report.
You have just taken the name of academic counselor. So what exactly is the role of academic counselor in the internship course?
Right. Now, when we talk about internship, whether at BA level or at MA level, there are 2 main important persons: academic counselor and agency supervisor. So the academic counselor is a person who is teacher and approved academic counselor for IGNOU. So he or she is the teacher at your study center. Okay, and agency supervisor is the person who will be there at the agency or the organization. Now this agency supervisor has to be a psychologist, not a psychiatrist and so on.
Okay.
Right? If you are doing clinical psychology or counseling, the agency supervisor needs to be a psychologist. And in case of clinical psychology, it would be better if the person is a clinical psychologist. As far as industrial and organizational psychology is concerned, because as we know, there might not be many HR managers with only psychology background, so they can do it under an HR manager as well.
Okay.
So as far as industrial and organizational psychology is concerned, the internship can either be carried out under a psychologist or an HR manager or a personnel manager in an industry. All these things are clearly given in the handbook of internship. Okay, the role of academic counselor, the role of agency supervisor. You were mainly focusing on the role, right? So the academic counselor, the main role is that he or she first of all has to confirm about the organization that over here the learner will be able to learn certain things based on his or her specialization, and they will provide an approval. Okay, you go ahead, you do your internship in this particular organization. Once that is done and the learner starts the internship, okay, he or she will constantly be in touch with academic counselor to kind of, if he or she has any query,
I think
that
this
can
is
be resolved.
important. This is important that the student remains in contact interaction with the counselor.
Yes. And on the other hand, the agency supervisor is going to help the learner at the organization by providing the cases and allowing the learner to observe, how to take a case history, how to carry out diagnosis,
So the agency supervisor will kind of mentor.
Mentor at the organization, and both of them would be available for the learner to clarify any doubts.
I would just want to talk in a bit detail about the report, how to make the report.
Right. Extremely important. I always say, if you look at my programs on internship, I always say, if you are not able to present your work well, you have not done any work. You might put in lot of hard work, you might have learned a lot during your internship, but then if you don't present it well, then everything is waste, right? So First of all, follow the format that is given in the handbook of internship. Have a proper table of contents. Include all the certificates that have been mentioned in this particular handbook. Have like page numbers, provide page numbers, and be systematic in the way each case is presented. Because just to mention over here, as mainly when we talk about internship in clinical psychology and counseling, there could be cases like there could be an individual having depression. You mentioned a proper case history, and if psychological test was administered on him or her.
Correct.
And the diagnosis that was carried out by probably the main psychologist over there, the agency supervisor, and your suggestion, your observation, everything would be there case wise. Okay, but when it comes to industrial and organizational psychology internship, there might necessarily not be only cases, there could be activities also.
Correct.
They can also study activities, for example, how performance appraisal is carried out, or how selection is carried out in the industrial setup, and so on. So they can either report the activities, or they can also report cases like absenteeism. Absenteeism case can be reported, or if a particular person is having some psychological issue, and that case was taken by this learner, with the help of the senior over there, then that also can be reported. Okay, so format has been given, but ensure that your report is presentable, it is neatly written or typed. Mainly there are n number of queries, whether the internship report should be typed or written. Even in the handbook, it is mentioned that there is no rule. It can be a mix of both. Right? It can be a mix of both. It can be typed or it can be handwritten. Like, for example, if you have taken a case history, okay, you can include it as it is. But if it is your observation, you can type it out and then put it in the report. So there is no hard and fast rule as far as whether the internship report should be typed or not.
Actually, Suhas, I was just feeling that there is some confusion because the project report, that is actually typed.
Yes.
So people get confused with like what kind of format should be followed in the internship
Absolutely.
report.
There could be confusion which should not be there because each of the component has a handbook.
Correct.
Now, in project, it is clearly mentioned that it is to be typed. And at the same time, for example, there are also many queries where they say about passing MPC 6 and passing MPC 5, which is a requirement for project and not for internship. Okay, so they have to distinctly remember that project is a different course, internship is a different course, and practicum is a different course. Practicum, of course, is there in first year MA as well as second year MA, and in second year BA as well as third year BA.
Correct.
Each are distinct course and they are compulsory. Okay, as far as BA is concerned, if they are majoring, then it's a compulsory course. Okay, similarly in MA also you have to do internship. You cannot be exempted from internship.
Yeah, there's no exemption.
There is no exemption for internship. Of course, you need not pass MPC 5 and 6. That is the requirement of project, because these courses are related to research methodology and statistics, which is not actually required in internship.
Correct.
But I would suggest that before you actually start your internship, please go through your theory courses. Because unless and until you understand, like for clinical psychology specialization, the theory courses have to do with psychopathology, psychodiagnostics, and psychotherapy. Now, these three are important for you to actually carry out internship. In a similar manner for counseling also, there is introduction to counseling, assessment in counseling. So you need to know about these before you actually go for hands-on experience.
Right. So some basic information, some basic knowledge should be there before you go to the field.
Yes. So please spend some time. You must have received the material. The material is also available on eGyanKosh. So first of all, read the material. Then also you will probably kind of identify what your interest is. Probably you want to work with children, or you want to work with couples. You want to work with adolescents. You want to work with different kind of categories, whatever, based on your interest. And depending on that, you can select. You want to work in a hospital or want to work in a clinic. But please remember that all the criteria that are given in the handbook, whether it is with regard to selection of the organization or with regard to agency supervisor, there are n number of learners probably want to do under a psychiatrist. See, as clinical psychologists, definitely we do have to work with psychiatrists, right? But then this is an MA psychology program. And the learners will learn best when they work under a psychologist. So the requirement of internship is that you need to work under a psychologist, barring, of course, industrial and organizational psychology, where they can also work under a human resource manager.
Correct. But I just want to add something here, that the learner should try to be original. One should not copy
Absolutely.
from their fellow learners, that the cases are similar, so let us copy, make a combined report kind of a thing. That should be absolutely avoided. One should go in by writing in one's own words, take help of different references. Now with the offline, apart from the offline resources, you have so many online resources and very good websites are there, so many things are there. Quickly, if you can just summarize the evaluation scheme.
The academic counselor will evaluate the learner out of 30 marks, and agency supervisor also is going to evaluate the learner out of 30 marks, which are internal 60 marks.
Okay.
60 marks are internal evaluation, out of which 30 is agency supervisor and 30 is academic counselor. There is a detailed criteria as well that is given in the handbook about how the academic counselor and agency supervisor can evaluate the learner, on the basis of what they can evaluate the learner.
Okay.
And the 40 marks are for Viva Voce.
Okay.
Okay, so the Viva Voce is, of course, the procedure we are going to discuss. Little later, we will also discuss the procedure, how, how you have to appear for the term and examination of internship.
So, but like Viva Voce, when you are referring to, this means the term and examination.
Term and examination. Viva Voce is term and examination.
Okay. And this is conducted by?
Regional center.
Okay.
Okay, so the procedure is, once you have taken approval from the academic counselor and you start with internship, while doing your internship, you are doing it under the agency supervisor and you are constantly in touch with the academic counselor. So the academic counselor also knows that, you are going the right way and you are learning the right way. Once your internship is over, 240 hours are complete. After that, once you finish writing the internship report, then it is to be given to the agency supervisor and the academic counselor. They are going to evaluate you on the basis of criteria given in the handbook, and the evaluation marks are to be sent by them to the regional center. And if any queries the learners have, they can write us on internship@ignou.ac.in.
Thank you, Suhas. With this, we come to the end of this session, and I request my learners to regularly visit the university website www.ignou.ac.in, as well as their regional center website for regular updates on various issues. Thank you so much.